in this video, we want to learn about a matrix, all right? So when you hear of a matrix, what you think about a matrix as a rectangular arrangement of numbers. So just like an array, all right? That's a common name for a matrix. Good. Okay, so I'm going to use what I should know already, that is a system of linear equations, all right? Commonly known as the simultaneous equations. So I'm just going to bring out an example, and then I'm going to, from there, introduce the matrix. So suppose we have a simultaneous equation. Let's just say a system of two linear equations, right? Let's see minus y equals to 4, and then we bring in negative x plus y equals to, let's just say 1, right? Good. Okay, so this is a system of linear equations. But to bring the matrix up, I'm not going to be solving this. That's not what I want to do. I just want to introduce matrix, right? So let's collect the coefficients of each of x and y in each of these equations, right? So we think about the coefficient of x is 2 here. The coefficient of x in this second equation is negative 1. So I'm going to write it accordingly. This is 2 here. This one is negative 1 underneath, right? So we also do this for the coefficients of y the same way. This is negative 1 over here, and then this is positive 1, okay? Very nice. I don't want to do something about the right hand side. I'm not going to solve this. So this is a way to think about a matrix, right? Just a rectangular arrangement of numbers. It could be a square or just a normal rectangle. Okay, great. Now let's talk about to know the order of a matrix. Okay, so the order of a matrix, to know the dimension, that is in terms of the dimension of a matrix, right? Good. So we are going to be talking about rows and columns. You know, the way you arrange things. Yeah, you can arrange things in rows and in columns, all right? So let's use blue to represent the row. So as you can see, this is going to mean the row. The horizontal way of looking at it will mean the row. So the rows will be like this. So we can call this the first row, denote it as row 1, and then the second row, row 2, all right? And then columns will be seen this way. So let me use red for that. Columns, we can call this C1, which means column 1, and then C2, which means column 2. Okay, this kind of this way will help us to maybe spot an element. If you say what is the element in the second row and the first column, you'll be able to tell, right? But apart from that, you notice that this matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns. So we can say the number of rows is 2, and then the number of columns, all right, is also 2, all right? So in that case, this is a matrix of dimension 2 by 2. So the dimension of the matrix is going to be 2 rows, okay, by it's going to be 2 by 2. That is 2 rows and 2 columns. So whenever we are talking about matrix in that dimension, we mention the row first before we talk about the columns, right? Always remember that. The row first before the columns. So let's say we want to bring out an element. So let me use the little a to denote an element of a matrix, okay? The a here will be of the form a, then the row, and then the column. So this is how to know. So if you want to pick out, let's say, the element that exists in the row 1 and column 2. So we are going to say A, right? We will say row 1. Well, row 1 will mean that will be row 1, okay, and column 2, that will be this. So can you tell what that element is? Well, let's see. Row 1 is this first row, okay, that is the row 1. This is the row 1. This is the row 2. This is column 1. This is column 2. So row 1, column 2. So when you try to mark, you will notice that the common element is this one, which is negative 1. So that is the element in the first row and then the second column, right? And similarly, I can ask you, what is the element in the second row and then the first column? So this is the second row, which I can use this 2 for R, okay? Second row. So the row comes first, then the first column, right? So what element will that be? Well, let's see. Second row, this is the second row. First column, this is the first column. So when you mark, you will notice that this element is the common term. Oh, and they turn out to be equal. Well, this is just a particular example, right? So that's how to spot out an element or an entry in a matrix. Okay, what else do we need to learn here? Well. Okay, so let me give us another example, okay, of a matrix. So let's say we have a matrix like this. Let's say it has this form. So maybe this place is 1, 4 minus 3, 2, 0, 7, 1, 1, 8. All right. So as you can see, what is the dimension of this matrix? Well, the dimension is going to be number of rows cross the number of columns. This is not like 2 times 2, 4. No, it's 2 cross 2. All right, that's the dimension, or you can say 2 by 2. Yeah, that's how to read it. So the dimension here is going to be, well, the number of rows here is 3. Okay, so with the number of rows here, there are 3 of them. So we say row 3, row 2, row 1. Okay, this is row 3. And then the number of columns here, C1, C2, C3. This is the column 3, column 2, column 1. Good. So that means that the dimension is going to be 2 by what? 3. All right, to represent the dimension. So if I ask you, maybe I say work, you put your answer in the comment section below. What is this element? Can you tell me? Maybe the entry with the row being, let's say 2, okay, and then the column is let's say 3. Good. What is this going to be equal to? Well, you put your answer in the comment section below. Right. So this is our introduction to matrices. In our next video, we'll be learning how to add 2 matrices together, and then subsequently we'll also do subtraction, multiplication, and so on and so forth. Okay, thanks for watching. Please share this video with your friends, and I'll see you in our next video.